What happens if you go up on one of their mics?
That's, yeah, I'll go up to the mic real quick.
I'm sure.
Check 1, 2, check.
One green light. Wait a minute. Mix to computer. I'm taking that off now.
Yeah. All right, I'll go up there.
And anything different now? Nothing?
No.
Okay, I'll just talk for a minute. I get to do a lovely sound check.
Well, I think you should sing something.
I don't really have any backing tracks. It's not my thing. I was an orchestra kid, fun fact. So played the violin. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So.
Where'd you graduate from?
So I grew up in Lansing. I the questions to the person to keep them talking. It's like the other side now, you know. There is, yes. So yeah, I grew up in Lansing. Let's see if the feedback suppression works. We might want to turn down the board volume just a little bit on your touchscreen there. You're right, you're pushing what the feedback suppression system can do in the processor.
So, are you a Michigan State fan?
I am a Michigan State fan since I grew up in Lansing, yes. Anything else over there? Anything different? Okay, I'm going to pivot to a different solution for you. I think I have OBS on one of our HPs. Let's go that route.
Hi, Paul. How are you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Nice to see you.
See, last time we didn't have the sound
It's
in here, so the mics are now feeding differently than they were last time, right?
Yep, but they're feeding to you and to the speakers.
They're feeding to what?
They're feeding to your laptop and to the speakers. I mean, one last test we could do here is if you bring up your system preferences and we click on that. If I go up there and talk, in theory, we should see a couple of bars of audio real quick.
Are you here for the science stuff?
We're Alright, quick mic check. Are you seeing anything? Nothing?
Good.
Whoa. Hi. Roll right into Joe's lap.
Oh, there it is, the software.
The one right behind you, they have, they don't handles.
Hi, how are you? Good. All right, how are you? Good. How are you? Yeah, we're in music. Yeah. I want to go to town. She said like you. Oh, no.
Well, actually, tonight.
Yep. That's where we are, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You do, it's like living on your own for a little bit, right?
Well, how about Mike could sit with you?
You want me to?
Hey, Chris.
Hey there.
That's not a good idea.
Why not? Hello, Michael.
Hello. Did you bring your checkbooks? I don't think I'm needed. What about this?
Did you figure out if it was a wrong email from the VA?
This is not going well tonight.
No.
I don't know what's going on. But usually they also have a lot of things set up in advance. It didn't happen today. So, I don't know. Got no sound and not getting very good connection.
Every time they say, "Oh, the chair rolls."
Hopefully this will be a very short one then.
So too. I hope so for many reasons. It's just not for many reasons. Yes. Oh, here you go. Some support.
I don't think we're gonna need to worry too much anyways. Our connection's terrible tonight in here. I don't know why.
I can never get the Wi-Fi to work well in this room.
It's up there. I mean, I know it is.
It's in the drop ceiling somewhere.
Yeah, that's why I think it's on that side.
It's on that end. I remember that, but I couldn't tell you where.
And we should be able to get, we've never had problems in here after school, so I don't know why. But
I mean, I usually try to hardwire, but
I'm just gonna let it run.
okay. Yep.
They see the video, but no, this is, I don't get it. And like I said, things have definitely changed, so I probably should have tried earlier, but oh well.
I was gonna say when I checked it on Sunday when we set up, or Saturday when we set up, it
Did you
It
do
worked.
it on your Mac?
I just checked it on my computer, just plugged in to my
I
Windows.
just wondered, I don't think this is usually what we use though.
That's what I've always given you.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
That's the only one of those I got.
I always thought it was a little different one, just a single.
I don't have one. I mean, your laptop can see it because it reads out the name of the
Right.
device.
Right.
So,
No, we'll worry about it next time as far as I'm concerned.
okay.
I'm not going to troubleshoot it. I'm just going to let it feed. And I mean, with the sound coming through the speakers, it may pick up enough anyways, because I mean, we're getting at least a green light.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Let me see if you can hear us talking on the stream.
This movie?
You went there and they did You just got to go. I just. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you made it. Like the sun.
Supervisor. I'm ready to come.
I'll take it.
What's that?
Mute on his mics until we start.
Started as close. It's working now. 7 o'clock as possible. If you would like to speak tonight, Ms. Hardy in the back there has sign-in sheets. So make sure you get those filled out and to her. And how about we take another 5 minutes and we'll start. We'll come out of closed session at 7:02.
Can't want to pull this one away.
Yeah.
One thing for you to know in room audio here, there's your room volume for their mics into the room. So if it gets too loud, you can come in here and turn down.
Okay.
It should. There we go.
Hey, is there a flag up there? Can you see a flag?
There might be one in the media center.
I would mention the Sioux real quick. There's no flag.
Yeah.
All right, it is 7:02. First thing, I called the meeting to order at 5 o'clock. We've been in closed session since that time, so I will accept a motion from the board to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Support. We have a roll call. Ms. Ray?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
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 And I vote aye. So go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Stand as you are able. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll start with board introductions.
Rachel Lee.
Griffin, aye. Jason Beckrow.
Greg Meeting, Superintendent.
Kevin Bush.
Wilson Lena.
Scott Allen. Jeff Hannon.
Okay. Let's move on then. I think we're on to number 5 on our agenda, approval of consent action items. Board members, you have those in your packet. Please take a look. Let me know if you'd like any changes made. And if not, I will accept a motion for its approval.
So moved. Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving right along to, good news, number 6. Good news about our schools. Tonight we'll be hearing from our middle school science Olympiad students. Make sure that, yeah, that way the people at home can hear you.
Oh, that's nice. Hi everyone, my name is Ali Ramirez. This year, Sophia, Cole, Nick, and I had the opportunity to compete for our middle school science Olympiad team. This team consists of 15 7th and 8th graders and 6th grade alternates, which we switch out when people are sick or can't make it to competitions. Our first competition was at Lake Michigan College on the Friday, so we got to miss school for some plus. Each of us individually had three, or maybe even 4 events, which we had partners in. Some of these events included testing, like bioprocess, anatomy, and physiology. Also building events, like storm the castle and mousetrap. As a team, we have placed in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in most of our events. And overall, we placed 2nd in our entire competition, which is a pretty good thing. Since November, we have been working hard together to do our best in each competition. In each event, we all did the best we could and did hard work, and our hard work paid off. And we were able to attend the state competition at Michigan State University. Go Green.
Go Green.
Hello, I'm Cole Miller, and I'm an 8th grader as part of the Science Olympiad. I'm going to talk about our experience as a team at the state competition. First of all, let me just tell you that none of us on the team had previously been to this competition. We all had some nerves going on, but we tried our best. We had many events where we placed in the top half of the teams participating. All in all, we did our best, but there are many things that were different from the regional competition, and we had one of them. I have talked about our performance at the competition, but let's talk about the experience. We all had fun at the experience, and were able to explore the huge campus of MSU. For me personally, I was shocked at how big the campus was. Another thing that was fun was being able to go into some amazing buildings, such as the STEM building, which was my personal favorite. We got to go around this campus, going from event to event, and it was nice to see the campus, even though if we were racing to get to an event. Many of us left with something important, rather it be an item we bought or a lesson we learned from participating. But we all can agree that this is a memory we won't forget.
Hello, I'm Sophia Goodish, and I'm going to be talking about why I joined Science Olympiad. I joined Science Olympiad to get more experience with science, since I'm going to be in the MSc in 9th grade, and I wanted to get some more knowledge in different subjects. I was able to diversify my learning by joining Science Olympiad, and found a group of people who were as interested in science as I was. The work never felt like work, because I was doing it with people who would become my friends. And Science Olympiad is great to get to know people and see your hard work pay off. It's a valuable experience, and one I'd encourage the younger grades to get into.
So, I don't have a paper. I think I'm going to be speaking. I still have things to say. I joined Science Olympiad because, well, one, I love science, wanted to learn more about science, and the competition overall, it was like playing with a family that was made because of this school. And we can't forget that this family is made because of Mrs. Fulbright and Mrs. Blau that were helping us during this. So can we please have a round of applause? But anyways, I have nothing else to say. So thank you.
Great job. Just say thank you so much for all your hard work in your presentation, and I love the smiles. Looks like you had a little fun learning science, eh? Awesome. All right, congratulations. Did you find the ice cream shop? Did you find that? Mr. Scott, that was the end of your
Yes, I do.
I'm going to move back in our agenda, and actually for the consent action items, I do want to make sure we do a roll call vote for that. So again, board members, could I have actually, what was the motion for its approval? Was it? Griffin and Bill. And so, Ms. Winnie?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Bushu?
Aye.
Mr. Lennon?
Aye.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Hammond?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Now we'll move on to Superintendent's informational report. Mr. Egan.
Thank you. Last week, we had a chance to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week. The University of Chicago Press Journal published a study that was completed in 2016 that tied student achievement, student absences, and student behavior to teacher quality. The study tells us something really that we already knew, and that's great teaching makes the biggest difference for any child in any school. And I'd like to thank all of our teachers for the great work that they do with our students each and every day. Since our last board meeting, I had the opportunity to finalize the agreement with Lincoln Township Police to bring in a school resource officer for Lakeshore schools. Our district is very excited about this opportunity. The school resource officer will work with all of our schools to be a visible, active law enforcement figure throughout the entire district. The officer will be a resource for students, parents, and teachers in handling individual issues such as substance abuse and other concerning behaviors. I'd like to formally thank Chief Gary Soper from the Lincoln Township Police Department for working with us to create this position. Lakeshore will be working with Lincoln Township and hiring this officer within the next month. Over the last few months, over 70 Lakeshore employees have been thanked through the Learn by Heart campaign. We continue to post these on our district Facebook page. Community comments have been wonderful to read, and it's made really a great difference for the overall morale and health of our entire employees throughout the district. Tied to that campaign, this coming Wednesday, Lake Michigan College is hosting an event titled Heartwork 2022. This event is specifically for all Berrien County education personnel and will include food as well as a keynote speaker. This will be a great culminating event to emphasize the importance our schools have on our entire community. And finally, I'm nearing the end of my first year with Lakeshore Schools. I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to work together on the important work of educating our children. I would also like to thank our administrative team, our teachers, and really the entire Lakeshore staff. It's been an honor, and I look forward to writing the next chapters of our work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. It's been a real honor working with you this past year, and I'd like to point out a couple of things. I'd like to thank you and your team, the Learn by Heart campaign. Just seeing those, so much positive, so many good things going on in our district. Thank you for sharing the light on that. And then, yes, with Teacher Appreciation Week, thank you to all of our teachers, to our whole team for that matter. And I'd like to have a round of applause for them. Item 8, now Board of Education reports. And first is Facilities and Finance. Mr. Hannon, would you read that for us, please?
The Facilities and Finance Committee met on the morning of Thursday, May 5th. Jason Bedrow, Kevin Bushu, myself, Greg Eating, Nick White, and Tracy Elsa. All towels were in attendance. Items discussed included but were not limited to the following. Tracy presented monthly financials, sinking fund projects and investments. Nothing of concern was noted. The committee discussed upcoming sinking fund projects and bid approval requests for a turf upkeep machine. The committee also discussed possible bond leverage and sinking fund renewal options. More information will be coming in the next few months on that.
Thank you, sir. Policy Committee, then, Ms. Wade.
Yes, and my apologies to everyone here because I've got 2 pages of policy changes to read, so just hang in there with us. The Policy Committee met on Tuesday, May 3rd. Present at the meeting were Greg Eating, Scott Allen, Bill Scaletta, and myself. The committee discussed Board Policy 5610 regarding emergency removal, suspension, and expulsion of students. The committee focused on the long-term suspension or expulsion portion of the policy. Superintendent Eating requested an additional step in handling significant student behaviors that might lead to a long-term suspension or expulsion. This added step would allow the superintendent to suspend a student for a period longer than 10 days, with the board being able to appeal this decision. This keeps us in line with the due process rights of students, while also allowing us to work directly with students and parents at the administration level for longer suspensions. The goal is not to have more long-term suspensions, but rather to lower the number of expulsions, keeping our students engaged with school as much as possible. So the following is the recommendation for change to policy 5610, and this would be the first reading. Currently, it says the superintendent may recommend to the board a long-term suspension or that a student be expelled. In all cases resulting in short-term suspension, long-term suspension, or expulsion, appropriate due process rights must be observed. Our suggested change is that the superintendent may recommend to the board a long-term suspension or that a student be expelled. The superintendent may suspend a student for a period longer than 10 days, not to exceed 45 days. The board shall act on any appeal to the decision. In all cases resulting in short-term suspension, long-term suspension, or expulsion, appropriate due process rights must be observed.
So let's take action on it now, and then we'll go to the other policy change. So board members, any discussion, questions regarding the policy change? And if not, I'll accept the motion for its approval.
So moved.
Support. It's not a roll call vote. So all those in favor? Aye.
All right, last month, the following proposed changes to policy, administrative guidelines, and Form 5111 were brought to the board for first reading. Tonight, we're requesting that they be approved for second reading and adoption. So the following is the recommendation for change to policy 5111. It currently states, students whose parents do not reside within the district, but who present evidence that they will move into the district within a short period of time, may enroll in the schools of this district as tuition students for the time not in residence. The change would state, students whose parents do not reside within the district, but who present evidence that they will move into the district within a short period of time, may enroll in the schools of this district for the time not in residence. Tuition may be required if the student does not qualify for state funding during the time not in residence. The next change is that the language currently says 12th grade students who have begun their work toward graduation from the district's high school and whose parents no longer reside within the district may be permitted to complete their high school education as tuition students. And the change would say 12th grade students who have begun their work toward graduation from the district's high school and whose parents no longer reside within the district may be permitted to complete their high school education. Tuition may be required if the student does not qualify for state funding during the time the parent or guardian is not a resident. And then to accompany that, the following changes are recommended for Administrative Guideline 5111. The current language says, proof of residency consisting of a deed, building permit, rental agreement, tax statement, voter registration card, or completion of Form 5111 F2B. The suggested change would say the homeowner must provide a current utility bill in the name and address of the person enrolling the student. Mailing address must match the service address, and either a current property tax bill with the name and property address or purchase agreement if closing occurred within the last 6 months of the person enrolling the student. A tenant must provide a current utility bill in the name and address of the person enrolling the student. The mailing address must match the service address, and the rental agreement with the name and property address of the person enrolling the student. And we would remove the following language. Students without appropriate records will be administered under temporary enrollment for a period of 10 days unless extended by the principal. Parents are to be informed at the time of admission. And then lastly, the following are recommendations for change to Form 5111, which accompanies all of this. We would remove Form 5111 F2A and replace it with the Lakeshore Public Schools affidavit for a student not living with a parent or guardian. And we would remove Form 5111 F2B and replace it with the Lakeshore Public Schools affidavit for designation of decision-making authority.
There and Thank you for reading all this.
Scott had to read it last month, so I guess it was my turn this time.
I think you did a better job.
For those that aren't familiar, when the policy committee brings policy changes to the board, there's a first reading. So the first policy 5610 was first reading tonight. That allows now for a due diligence period no shorter than the next board meeting. The policy changes 5111 then have been read in prior. Another month of due diligence. And we'll once more ask the board for any questions, comments, or concerns. And if there are none, I will ask for an approval, a motion for the approval of guidelines 5111.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Move on to, next is the approval of the very recent budgets. Board members, you'll see that in your packets. In your materials is a summary of the very recent general fund and the special education fund proposed budgets for the 22-23 school year, and a copy of the resolution of support to be adopted. Each local board of education within Berrien Recess service area must take action on the proposed general fund budget. Though the special education budget is informational only. The majority of most school districts must be in support of this budget for it to be officially approved. So as you look through that, board members, are there any questions or discussion? And if not, I will accept a motion for its approval.
So moved.
Support.
And we'll do a roll call vote. Starting on my right, Mr. Hennon.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Scaletta.
Aye.
Mr. Boucher.
Aye.
Mr. Ahn.
Aye.
Ms. Wade.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Moving on down then, we're going to go to number 9, superintendent recommendations. Mr. Eady, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you. I have a bid approval recommendation, the Cone Fieldhouse and Soccer Stadium Improvement Project. King Scott, which is our architectural firm, recommends accepting the bid received for the Cone Fieldhouse and Soccer Stadium Improvement Project in the amount of $275,000 from local company CPM Construction Incorporated. The mechanical, fire alarm, electrical, and railing improvements to these areas are a result of inspections conducted to receive this gift in order to have it meet school code requirements, as well as recommendations from our insurance company. The resources would come from the Building and Site Sinking Fund. Any questions?
There's no discussion. Is there a motion for approval of the Cone Fieldhouse and Soccer Stadium Improvement Project?
So moved. Support.
Starting to my left, Ms. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Ahn.
Aye.
Mr. Boucher.
Aye.
Mr. Scaletta.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Hennon.
Aye.
I'll vote aye as well.
Excellent, thank you. I think it's important to know that when we are gifted such amazing, things like a soccer stadium and a field house, that sometimes the building requirements change for schools as to the general public. So some of those include us having to invest in that property immediately to put it up to code. That's what that was for. Similarly, the turf maintenance equipment is another bid, and Operations Director Nick White, who's in our front row here, is recommending that we accept the bid for a turf maintenance equipment from SMG Equipment in the amount of $50,050. This would allow the synthetic turf surfaces to be cleaned and maintained internally for an efficient and economic upkeep. I think what we're seeing is a large bump in what people are charging us to have that cleaned on a yearly basis. And we can recur this cost within, we think, under 4 years by using our own equipment. So, and it comes also with the training for use of that equipment and upkeep. So I'm excited about that opportunity. It does pull everything out. I don't know if it is, I think it does disinfect as well.
Great, that was $57,000.
$57,050, 57050.
In reality, it's probably about a 3-year payback plus. I I think we would extend the life of those fields, because instead of doing this once a year, then we were paying, we'll be able to do it a couple times a year on the higher,
We have,
fields. So
we have turf now on the football field, two soccer fields, softball, and a baseball field. So it's gonna get a lot of use.
So moved.
Okay, support. Mr. Hannon and Mr. Bushu, and we'll start to my left, Mr. Hannon.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Scaletta.
Aye.
Mr. Bushu.
Aye.
Mr. Hahn. Aye. Ms. Wade.
Aye.
Good curriculum.
So it's another set of papers here, a second. Yeah, we are requesting high school science materials purchase, that the board approve for their proposed high school science materials from multiple companies, including McGraw-Hill, Savas, Lab Aids, and Cengage, in the total amount of $162,728.88. By the way, the shipping for one order is estimated, so it might be a little bit off on that one. I think we estimated high though. These are science materials, and science materials are not cheap. So excited about this new curriculum that we're going to be able to bring in.
Should we ask these science Olympiads? Doesn't matter.
Would you guys like some new science? I'm sure you're doing science stuff.
Board members, any other discussions or concerns you'd like to raise? If not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Support. Ms. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Hahn. Aye. Mr. Bushu.
Aye.
Mr. Scaletta.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Hannon.
Aye.
I vote aye.
And
That stuff.
that's right. And right afterwards, you can go to social studies class and have new curriculum. So we have another request for the board to approve curriculum materials for high school social studies, again from multiple companies. The total amount is estimated to not be more than $45,777.24, including shipping.
So moved. Mr. Hannon approves. Support.
Support.
Ms. Wade.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hahn says aye. Mr. Bushu.
Aye.
Mr. Scaletta.
Aye.
Mr. Allen.
Aye.
Mr. Hannon.
Aye.
I'll vote aye. For the person. Oh.
Yes, we're under personnel. We got to shift to personnel. Thank you. So we are in the middle of hiring season, and we have 3 teacher retirements to announce that will now have to be filled or have been filled. Middle school choir director Carol Conrad of 20 years with the district, high school Spanish teacher Sue Baker, 24 years, and high school special education teacher Doug Clem for 21 years. We sincerely thank all of them for the devotion and compassion that they have shown our students in the Lancer community. We wish them the very best. Also, high school assistant principal Jason Holock has decided to resign from his administrative role effective at the end of June, which he has held since 2019, and he'll be returning to the classroom. He has accepted our position as a high school special education teacher. We're recommending the hiring also of 4 new teachers for the next school year, and 1 that will be beginning this coming week. Those are Catherine Debkowski will start Wednesday as our Hollywood Elementary speech pathologist, working at 60%. So she is a replacement for an opening that we've had since early April. Katie has a bachelor's degree from Indiana University and a master's degree from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. She has previously worked in Chicago and South Bend. Allison Wenzel will be taking over as the middle school choir director. She received her bachelor's from Western Michigan University and taught in Hartford schools before coming to Lakeshore. Lance Carter has accepted the high school math position. He received his bachelor's from Western Michigan University and most recently taught at Berrien Springs High School. Brian Murphy is our new HVAC instructor, very excited for that, at 40%. And we are thrilled to offer this job skills for our high school students. He has been in the HVAC trade for 29 years and has service from the Navy that he can project right into this position as well. John Gurton has accepted the new position of high school advanced weight training. He received his bachelor's degree from the University of North Florida and his master's from Northern Michigan University. He most recently taught in Traverse City area schools. Prior to that, he was in Virginia.
Any discussion, board members? If not, do I hear a motion for this approval?
Someone.
Support.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Stewart?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Khan?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Okay. Next is out-of-state trip.
We have a request from the high school math and science center of teacher Jill McNabney for the MSC juniors to take a one-day trip to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio on Friday, May 27th. They'll be collecting data at Cedar Point using accelerometers, speedometers, and altimeters in order to look at kinematics equations using real-life data. They actually have a day at Cedar Point for this, which is kind of cool. They'll collect data while in the park and will then utilize this data once they return to the physics classroom to calculate speed, velocity, acceleration, and g-force, amongst other things from different rides in the park. Sounds like a great trip, and I'm sure the students in middle school are excited for that.
Chaperones.
Yes, they think they need several chaperones.
Only for the Bible ride, test for G-force.
That's for G-force. That'd be great.
So moved. So moved. Support. Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's the last there. I'm going to now move to section 10, the items that we were covering in closed session. We did have 3 expulsion hearings, so I'm going to read the results of those. First, I'll read the motion and then I'll ask for discussion. That is for student 74 to, rather than be expelled, be reinstated to Lakeshore schools on 5/16. Return to school is contingent upon satisfactory academic process as defined by the high school administration, ongoing counseling sessions, no further legal entanglements. And if these criteria are not met, the district reserves the right to expel student number 74. Is there any discussion? And if not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, moving on then to student 75. The motion would be that student 75 be expelled from Lakeshore Public Schools for the remainder of the current academic year and the first semester of academic year 22-23. Return to school, again, contingent upon satisfactory academic progress, no further legal entanglements, encouragement for ongoing counseling. And if these criteria are not met, the district reserves the right to permanently expel student number 75. I think we also said 75 would be evaluated by the board for readmission at the appropriate time. Any discussion? And if not, I'll accept the motion.
Some
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, student number 76. The motion would be that student number 76 be suspended, not expelled, suspended from Lakeshore Public Schools for the remainder of the 21-22 school year. And again, return to school contingent upon satisfactory academic progress as defined by the middle school administration, encouragement for and ongoing counseling services, and having no further legal entanglements. If these criteria are not met, the district reserves the right to expel student number 76. Is there a motion? So moved.
Support.
All those in favor? Aye. And lastly, we did Mr. Eating's superintendent evaluation. We've been working on this throughout the year and have finalized that tonight. I will read a motion that Superintendent Gregory Eating receive a rating of 4.0. That's out of 4.0. That's a perfect score for the 2021-2022 school year. Also, based upon an assessment of performance of the established goals for the 21-22 school year, there will be a motion that Mr. Eating receive a stipend in his contract equal to 7% of the base salary as established in Section 5 of the current contract. Any discussion?
I think looking at this as a whole, obviously it's been one of the most unique years any of us can ever remember in education. To hire somebody and bring them into this environment right from the get-go is daunting, to say the least. Many superintendents in the area and in the state are just simply trying to survive this year, as are other administrators and teachers. And as we really look at the body of work for the year, to survive and get through the year is extraordinary. But as we look back, some of the things that we've talked about tonight, the school resource officer, that's something that's been discussed for years. Additional resources to support the students. The LEF that we heard about from Mr. Anderson, the 3 main goals there that have been put into place. Tremendous. Going to have a huge impact on the district for the next generation. The Learn by Heart campaign. To have the vision in year 1 to take what could be a very negative year, and has been at times for us, and really flip that on its head and say, you know what, we need to focus on all the great stuff our teachers are doing every day. And we need to recognize those teachers, and we need to recognize those bus drivers, and we need to recognize the custodians. And to put a platform in place and really be a leader in the county for that. All in year 1, while he's still trying to figure out how to be a superintendent. It's pretty impressive. Now, we're going to give him some goals. He's not done, and he's got room for improvement, and we're going to push him. But when you look at the body of work in year 1 and the kind of year it's been, that's great progress in a normal school year. To do that on top of all the challenges of this year, pretty phenomenal. So at the end of the day, those of you that went through the process with us a year ago, the hiring process, right? Ups and downs. Do we go this direction? Do we go that? It's nice to be able to sit here a year later and say, gosh, I think we got this one right. Thank you.
Any other board members? I'd just like to kind of echo what Mr. Bushy said. I've had the distinct pleasure of serving this board now for about 10 years, and 3 or so as your board president, and having, as board president, worked with 2 amazing superintendents. Our hope was that we would keep everything that had been great about Lakeshore keep going on the upswing. And not only has that happened, but I agree with Mr. Bushy. This has just been I like your word unique. It's been a unique year. But you also helped remind us that in times of great challenge is also a time of great opportunity. And you're just an outstanding leader. Thank you. So with that being said, I guess is there any further discussion? And if not, I'd be honored to make the motion that we give Mr. Eating the rating of highly effective 4.0 in the range that we mentioned. Is there support?
Support.
Roll call vote. Ms. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Ott?
Aye.
Mr. Bushy?
Aye.
Mr. Saletta?
Aye.
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Hennon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Let's move on to number 11, public comment. I only have 3 people registered right now. There are Cassie Bowles, Grant Rose, and Andrew Glisson. Is that right, Mrs. Hardy? Yep.
I didn't have anybody tonight.
So, Cassie Bowles, you're first. The floor is yours.
Hello. Tonight, I'm here I heard some rumors about the Young Fives program and that it was going to be all in Hollywood next year most likely, and that Ms. Everhart at Roosevelt, who's currently teaching Young Fives, will be moved to first grade. I'm kind of concerned about that, I guess. I signed up my youngest son, who is 4 right now, for Young Fives next year. And I specifically requested Ms. Everhart at Roosevelt because he's severely speech delayed and he will be splitting time with Varian Springs. He's in his IEP and all that stuff. And she has a kid currently, the split time, who's in my son's class in Varian Springs. So she's already used to the whole process, and my son's current teacher at Varian Springs is just very impressed with the way that the one child in her classroom has grown this year. And she was very excited when, I said, oh, Preston, we can probably split time at Young Fives in preschool. And she's like, oh, that's great. So not only Ms. Everhart, specifically wanting her, I also have concerns about transportation because my kids are Stewart kids. So I don't know how I'm going to get kids from Stewart in Hollywood or vice versa. And with him being so small, he's a little tiny peanut, he still lives in a 5-strap harness. I'm not super comfortable with him being on a bus from Stewart to Hollywood or Hollywood to Stewart or whatever. I don't like it right now. Like the van takes him home from Varian Springs and he's able to be in his car seat buckled up, and I feel really good about that. So those are my main concerns. I know you guys don't really do anything with teachers, stuff like that, but I know Mr. Eden, you do probably. So I just kind of wanted to put it out there, make the public comment that these are my concerns about that. And then also, I know I brought up like the elementary curriculum, and I had emailed Mr. Eden as well with another one of my friends. And her kids go to Stewart too, and just basically like science kids, hands-on stuff with kids. So if there could be a breakdown of, what funds go where and like what the PTO needs to pay for, or the teachers need to ask for a grant from LEF because they come to the PTO asking for a lot of money. And we only have so much money, we can only fundraise so much. And so yeah, it would be really nice to see a broken down list of that. And I know the principal knew by name who had emailed, which was a little bit uncomfortable in our last PTO meeting. So if anybody wants to follow up, just follow up with me. I know when we put our the public comment, right, you probably have my email. I know Mr. Eden has my email, so follow up on any of this stuff would be great. So those are my main concerns tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Rhodes, and then Mr. Wilson.
Hear me okay? All right, so I just wanted to talk about my freshman year of college. So I just finished up my freshman year of college at the University of Texas at Dallas, used by the acronym UTE. And I graduated from Lakeshore in the May of 2021. I spent all my years since the second half of first grade through my senior year of high school here at Lakeshore. And I wanted to specifically talk about the fact that Lakeshore Public Schools really helped aid my transition from a small town of 1,000 people here in Stevensville to a large city of approximately 7.6 million people living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and how the public school system, even from elementary school, prepared me to be able to make that transition. Even though we're here in a small town, there are a lot of things that, because of you guys and because of people like JC Anderson with the LEF, kind of create a big school, I guess, in terms of like Lakeshore is known by a lot of the state because of things like athletics, education, stuff like that. And we have really great teachers here that help not only increase your knowledge on a lot of things, but also increase the ability to go out and be on your own. The transition to college is very scary, especially if you're going to a new state, and especially if you do not know anybody there. I went from knowing a very large amount of Stevensville and a large amount of Stevensville knowing who I am to a place where I knew nobody and nobody knew me, and that was very scary. However, I feel that certain teachers and certain people in the school system here helped make the transition easier for me. To name a few, obviously not, I can't just sit here and name everybody, but to name a few, Amy Perkins, Chuck Jager, Linda Smith, Jeff Chorney, those are just a few off the top of my head that I would like to name to say that they helped me with my transition. And I have really enjoyed being in Texas, so those of you here who have not gone to college yet or have not even started to think about it, it is not a terrible thing to go far away to go to college. It really helped me become a better person. It really helped me increase the amount of people that I knew across the country. Obviously, you can still have to do that by going to school here, but I know a lot of people and I've made a lot of new friendships, and I feel like my worldview is a lot larger now that I have lived in a place such as Dallas, Texas. And so I would like to personally thank you guys for creating a good place to be for public schools here. And I would like to extend a thank you out to the rest of the public schools around this area that are so great. And if you guys had any questions about my time spent in Texas, for my first year spent in Texas, I would like to hear if you guys want to know anything about that.
It's public comment now. Q&A.
How about stick around afterwards? We can
Yeah,
check
we
it.
can talk about it. Likewise to Mr. Okay. Thank you, Rand, for coming. Appreciate that. Anything else? Mr. Wilson.
Hello.
Hello.
Right. I would like to read a letter to the school board. This letter was signed by 203 current residents, alumni, staff, and in some cases, parents of alumni. The 108 current parents in it represent approximately 149 current Lakeshore students. Dear Lakeshore Public School Board, thank you for your dedication and commitment to our students, teachers, and administrators. We recognize you've had to make tough decisions during an unprecedented time. The board serves a diverse set of opinions, and we ask only that you prioritize the safety and education of all of our students to the best of your ability. It was the effort and careful consideration of the Lakeshore Public School Board administrators and teachers that allowed our students to have more in-person learning days than all other districts in our community. We believe the coordinated recall effort targeted at our board members and many other area school board members is unwarranted, unjust, and unhealthy for our entire district. These efforts and the negative attention they draw will undermine our ability to attract the teaching and administrative talent necessary to continue the high-quality education provided by Lakeshore Public Schools. Please know that you have our continued support and that we sincerely appreciate all that you do for our community. Sincerely, the undersigned. And we've given the original copy of this letter to Ms. Hardy for you. And lastly, I'd like to say some of us Lakeshore parents
in an effort to continue to keep parents and residents engaged with the district and to support it, have started a Facebook group called For the Love of Lakeshore. This is a nonpartisan group for all Lakeshore Public School District residents and parents who want to create a cooperative environment and a bright future for our children, teachers, and community. We're a group with diverse opinions, but we all agree to the goal of working collaboratively to support and strengthen our district. So we encourage anyone who is interested in constructively supporting the district to check us out on Facebook. That's For the Love of Lakeshore. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. That will conclude public comments and concludes our agenda. There's no further discussion from board members. I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good.